Welcome to another episode of Just Cuz, the podcast where two cousins talk about things they love.
Just cuz, and get excited because today we are talking about Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan, aka The Marvels.
The Marvels, which really catches on in this movie. Catches on real quick, and I love it.
Honestly, I really loved it. Okay. I was gonna wait.
Yeah.
To say what I thought about it.
We should just, get into it. What did you think about it?
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so much fun. I don't get the hate that it's getting because I have a friend who saw it yesterday and he said that he didn't enjoy it. He thought it was stupid. And I was like, I was prepared not to like it. I was. And
that I don't understand.
I don't get it. As soon as it started, I was like, this is great. This is really fun.
I am so glad you like this.
Yeah.
I loved it too.
Yeah. Are there parts of it that are dumb? Of course there are. This is a comic book movie. Not everything has to be taken so freaking seriously. It's fun. It's wacky. It's heartfelt. I love it. I adore it.
Yeah. We will get into all of it, but I feel like the best thing to start out with is how good the chemistry is between the three leads.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they carry it so well. Each is just as important as the last.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe they pulled that off so well.
I'm sure they screen tested, I don't know the actors' names, but who play Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau. I think it's
Iman Vellani and Tiona Paris.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but
yeah. I'm sure they screen tested them with Brie Larson before they casted them in WandaVision and Miss Marvel respectively, because this was clearly planned for a while and it was a necessity. They are like a picture perfect team. And oh my gosh, we'll get to it, but those fight sequences,
oh my god.
They were like crack. I love them.
Well choreographed, but they are incredibly well shot.
Yes.
And I cannot believe how good it is. And the switching, but we'll get into it.
Yes. Okay.
So what do you want to start out with? Like, should we just go chronologically?
Let's start from the beginning. Kamala Khan touches her bracelet and then Captain Marvel gets blasted into her room.
And before that, we even see the villain, which I guess is my one complaint about this movie, is the villain. I guess I can get into all that now. The one thing that I would change, and I feel like that happens a lot with these Marvel movies, and I'm just like, oh, this one thing could have made it great. If we maybe started out 3 to 5 minutes getting to see this planet that the villain's on, Hala, getting to see the Civil War and getting to see the planet fall, because then we could have cared about it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, I mean, go ahead. Okay, describe the first scene for us.
So it's the villain and her science guy, and they find the other bangle, which a year ago when we watched Miss Marvel, we were wondering, like, there has to be another bangle there. I mean, obviously it's one per arm, and that's going to play a big role in the Marvels, and Miss Marvel ended with a big tease for the Marvels, and we've waited so long for that to be paid off. And the same thing is true for Monica being in WandaVision, which kind of kicked off this whole phase 4 of Marvel.
Right.
That is a long time coming.
Yeah, technically Spider-Man No Way Home kicked it off, but nobody believes that. It was WandaVision that kicked it off.
Yeah. I remember waiting for Marvel to be back up at midnight so I could watch the first episode of WandaVision. I was like, yes,
I remember
we're back.
It was fun time. Well, no, it wasn't because it was in the middle of the pandemic, but just the WandaVision part was fun.
WandaVision was a peak of fun.
Sure, yeah. That funnels into my complaint. It's not really a complaint of the movie itself. It's just the amount of, like you said, the amount of time that we've had between WandaVision, Miss Marvel, and now the Marvels. It's been a really long time. And if you didn't just go and binge the shows before this to get caught up on the character stuff, then you're like, I don't remember half this stuff. Oh, yeah. And watch Miss Marvel, watch Captain Marvel, the first movie before it. It's been a really long time since then. And it's picking up plot lines that, you know, some people might have forgotten about.
I watched Miss Marvel in the past week, just binged it, and I appreciate that I did, and the show was a lot better upon rewatch because I didn't love how it ended, but you don't really need to watch any of those going into the Marvels, and I do appreciate how they do all of that character work. And there's some, you know, Brie Larson watching her past through a memory device, which, I mean, that it's contrived, but there's plenty of stuff in this movie that is contrived, and I still like it.
I liked it too. I didn't have a problem with them. We're jumping, but like going and looking at the past memories, I thought that was very helpful, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to watch all of WandaVision to see this one scene that's important about Monica. Great, perfect. Just like play those scenes here. They did it really well in the flashback way. But like going back to the start of the movie, the way that I'm just thinking of this now, but an ideal way that I would have started this movie, if I was making it, I would have done the villain at the Kree capital, you know, just hanging out, chilling, and then all of a sudden there's an explosion and they don't know what's going on and everyone's screaming, and then it cuts away and cuts to Kamala. That might have been really interesting because later in the film they treat what's it called? The the reason that the villain motivation, that's it, the reason that the villain is doing what they're doing, they treat, I don't even know her name, I don't remember her name, but the villain's motivation, Darben.
I know it because it's a dumb name, because Captain Marvel always has dumb named villains. The name of the villain in the first one is Jan Rog.
I don't remember him, I call him Jude Law, and that's all I call him. But what was it? Darben, okay. Darben, they treat Darben's motivation and the way that it's connected to Captain Marvel later, they treat it like it's a big reveal. And it's not, because we know what happened, right?
Yeah.
And so it would have been interesting if you wanted to set it up as a big reveal, then put a scene at the beginning where you're like, oh, what happened to make her so jaded? And like from her, like you could play it from her perspective. She just wants to save her planet. Obviously that's not the case. And we see that she sucks very quickly. But you know, that could be, or just like, instead of showing her getting the bangle, like show her like helping the people in her world who are dying, like, oh my god, we can't breathe, blah blah blah, this that, you know.
Well, I mean, I still even believe that she's doing the right thing, and motivation wise she is in the right.
No, she's not.
But
she's not. No, she's not. Hold on, wait. No,
I
she's
think she
not.
is. She's just trying to save her planet.
She's a colonist.
Yeah, she is.
She's from a planet of colonizers who view those other planets as their property, so they're going and pillaging them for resources to save their planet. Just because their planet is being destroyed doesn't mean that they have the right, doesn't mean that she is in the right to pillage and steal resources from other planets.
She's the villain. She's going about it the wrong way, but in her mind, she's in the right, which is why I appreciate her story. Yeah. But, I mean, I wish I cared about her planet.
Sure.
If we had gotten to know it, maybe I would have been more behind what she was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, in the first Captain Marvel, we were there for, 5 minutes before Carol left that world? Of course she thinks she's doing the right thing. All villains think they're doing the right thing. But she's very clearly not. And, like, she knows that because she's killing all of these other people. She doesn't see... It's because she doesn't see them as people. She sees those resources as property of the Kree and theirs to take. That's what her mentality is.
But she's definitely not the strongest.
No, of course not. But if she's not the weakest either. I like that she has the personal connection to Carol. I like that it is from the planet where Carol spent a lot of time. Like she's not taking the resources from worlds at random. She's
I meant to say she's not the strongest part of the movie, but I do appreciate how strong she is physically.
No. I thought you meant she's not the strongest Marvel villain. I thought that's what you were
Yeah.
gonna say. Sorry.
That's also true.
Okay. And I don't think she's a weak Marvel villain is what I'm saying. Because I
Yeah.
like that she's targeting the previously colonized Kree planets that she knows that Captain Marvel cares about. The one that the Skrulls are living on, who she saved. The one that we'll get into it, the ocean one, and then
Oh
the
my
Earth.
God.
We'll get into it.
We'll
And
get
then the
into
Earth.
it.
And I think that's interesting. If they had played up, Carol's connection to the Kree planet Hala a little more, because Carol did live there for a few years. Like, she lived there for what was it, 5 or 6 years?
I don't even know, but it was
but
her home for a little
brainwashed
bit.
to think that she was from there, and whether she was or not from there, she has a connection to it. So I wish they had played that up a little bit more. But anyway,
Anyway,
the villain tears a hole through the jump points stuff thing, the hexagons, and then all at the same time, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan, they touch the glowy stuff.
Yep. Even though Sam Jackson says not to touch glowy stuff, they do it.
They all touch the glowy stuff, and then they all get quantum entangled on their light-based powers.
Before that, there is a really cool 2D sequence to introduce Kamala, and I loved that. Just the fun editing.
Oh my God, I missed that. I think I missed that. I don't remember that.
It was the part where Kamala was like, it's so hard to draw hands, and the whole thing was made to look hand-drawn, and Kamala's hand went down and swiped it from page to page.
No.
It was spectacular.
Okay, you know what? You're going to hate me. I walked into the theater like a minute late because I had to go to the bathroom. So I think I missed that shit.
Well, you got to watch it again because it is amazing.
I'm definitely going to see this again. I'm definitely going to see it again. But yeah, okay. So I'm sure that was very cool. That sounds cool. But then they get quantum entangled, and they show basically what happened from all of the perspectives, and then it comes in like they do like the Ocean's 11 style editing with all the like crosses,
yes,
cross sections. It's so good.
They do that a couple times. They do it a bunch of
times. It was great.
And it's always great.
I loved that. This is a different kind of team up movie than we've ever really had before, because it's not really a team up movie, because they don't want to team up, and they I think they have to because of their
but I think deep down every single one of them wants to team up.
Of course
some
they do. Yeah.
Very transparently more than others.
Yeah.
Maybe Kamala like 100%.
100%.
She's like, let's team up. Let's do this.
Can I just say, Kamala Khan was one of the best parts of this movie.
Well, she was the heart and soul of the movie.
Yes, and she was an absolute ray of sunshine. She was freaking hilarious. I enjoyed every single minute that she was on screen.
Why aren't you guys dancing?
Yeah.
And she's just grooving out.
She said that really weirdly. It's so good. All of her lines are quotable, guys. They're all memes, and I love it. She's so good. Anyway, they get entangled.
I don't even remember what happens in between the entanglement and then the first action scene, because I just have that first action scene ingrained in my brain at this point.
So good. Well, it was Kamala tells her family that she was in space, and she now has Goose the cat.
Yes.
No, wait. No, she didn't have Goose the cat. No, that was the second one. The first one, I don't know what she did. I don't think we had a scene with Kamala. I think it was, they all went back to their original places, and just Monica talking to Nick Fury, and then Carol went and did some Kree stuff, and then they used their powers again, and they switched. Because she was going to infiltrate the, where the girl was. Dunbar, whatever her fucking name is. I'm not
Dunbar.
Gonna remember it.
Dunkirk.
I'm not gonna remember it. I'm sorry. What's the actress's name? Maybe I'll remember that.
Oh goodness. Is it Zoe Ashton?
Zoe. Okay, I can remember that.
But
anyway.
That first action scene, I don't know if it's the music, the choreography, like I mentioned, and the camera work, the editing, everything was just coinciding so perfectly.
It was so good. And their switching was enticing to watch. It was like so, not enticing, that's the wrong word. What's the word I'm looking for?
I mean, it was though, because you'd expect it every time they use their powers,
but it's
and
not
you'd just be
every
waiting
time.
for
Yeah,
it.
but it's not every time they use their powers. It's every time they use their powers at the same time.
Which, watching the trailer, I was like, how does this work? How does the switching? Mm-hmm. And then they immediately explain that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like it.
And oh my god, it was so funny because they're fighting in 3 different places. So Carol is fighting in the Kree headquarters. She went to infiltrate the Kree headquarters, and she's fighting there. And then they use their powers at the same time, and Kamala appears, and Goose eats 2 of the guys that Carol was fighting, and then Kamala
just
picks
stores
up
him
Goose.
in his belly.
Yeah, and then Kamala picks up Goose, and then they switch back, so Kamala's back at her house with Goose, and then Goose comes out at Kamala's house and starts fighting there, and then Monica, I don't remember how the guy got into the ship that Monica and Nick Fury were in, but they're also fighting someone there.
It was just Kamala made like a circle, and then she got transported, and everyone in the circle was transported too.
That's probably it. Yeah, that's probably it.
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot
you genuinely need to watch that scene maybe even more than a couple times, and even the fight at the end, to know what the hell is going on. And I kind of love that.
I'll say this about this movie. There are very few Marvel movies that I will rewatch endlessly. This has the making of a movie that I could rewatch endlessly. I could put it on any night while I'm cooking, and I'll be like, I fucking love this movie. This is great. This is so fun.
Because it's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It is so much fun. No, yeah, we can bring that up because
it's people who hate fun, okay? It's people who hate fun because it only gets more fun as we keep going into the movie.
Yeah. But I mean, this movie's not making a lot of money, and that makes me so sad because more people need to watch it.
I don't think it's because of this movie. I think it's because of the previous movies that Marvel has put out. I think it's because of Quantumania. I think it's because of Secret Invasion. I think it's because of... What was the other movie that came out? I don't remember. See?
Love and Thunder.
Yeah. Oh, God. No. No, but there was the more recent one. There was a more recent one. I don't remember what it was.
Was there?
Was there?
Oh, goodness.
Wait, am I crazy? What was the most recent Marvel movie that came out? No, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
Oh my goodness. We forgot. How did we forget about Guardians 3?
Because we were thinking about bad ones. Because it's really
I was like, what's
good,
a forgettable Marvel movie? And Guardians 3 was blocked out because it is not forgettable.
Absolutely not forgettable, but we forgot it. Look at that.
Yeah, somehow. We'll talk about it later, but this movie was so good with connectiveness between all of the movies.
Yes! Eternals, we're looking at you, okay? There's so many of these that feel like they don't understand that they're in a connected universe. Multiverse of Madness, I'm looking at you. You need to stop doing that.
It's little things in this movie that just go a long way.
Yeah.
To just make me happy.
All the acting is good. The cinematography feels like they care. It's not paint by numbers, It's dynamic. It's fun to watch. I love the music choices. We'll talk more about that later.
My goodness, yes.
Okay, so they get quantum entangled or light-based power entangled, whatever the fuck it's called. And then
They're entangled.
They're entangled. And they have the super, super awesome fight scene. And then Monica and Nick Fury show up at Kamala's door. And that's when it starts getting really good. Because Kamala gets super excited and starts to show Nick Fury her powers. And then, oh no, Carol's using her powers at the same time. So Carol gets snapped there. And then Monica and Carol meet for the first time since Monica was like 8 years old.
And you could just feel this tension. My goodness.
Okay. Before I say anything else, I know you've seen it, but I urge every single person listening, the 5 of you, to go watch Rowan Ellis's video about the first Captain Marvel movie. Okay? That is a very...
I'm nodding my head.
Yeah.
But yes,
that is a
watch
very
it.
good video, and it is very important for how I feel about this movie and anything to do with Captain Marvel. But Carol is Monica's aunt, and heavy quotation marks over aunt. Not because they're not blood related. That is not what I mean. Anyway, if you don't know what I mean, go watch that video. I'm not getting into it. It's a long story.
Kamala's mom or dad going like, they don't look like they're related.
They don't look like they're related. Shut up. Oh yeah, no, and then Kamala's
family's complicated.
Yeah, that was Kamala's brother, and they... Oh, wait, I don't remember who said it, but the mom was like, family is complicated. And I was like, girl, you're just serving. She's great in this movie. Also, Kamala's family is in this whole movie. Kamala's mom, dad, and brother are in this whole movie. And they're freaking hilarious. I love them.
They're all so fantastic. I was doing some research, just trying to find info about this movie, and I found some bad stuff. Turns out the actor for Kamala's dad is not a good person. Oh. But I still really love all of their performances. They feel really good as a family. And that was really terrible news to find out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Why is Jude Law on this cast list? He's not there. Anyway.
I mean, he's in the movie for a second.
Well, in the flashback, he shouldn't be credited in the first 7 cast members. Anyway,
I forgot to mention with the flashbacks, I did like how they made, for a split second, you saw memories of Carol going to Hala and destroying the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah.
All of that could have been edited differently in the movie so that it was less of a reveal and just the audience, dramatic irony and everything.
Right.
But I still did like that.
Yeah. I mean, all 3 of them, Kamala, Carol, and Monica, were all seeing those. So if we, the audience, saw it, then they would have seen it too.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they knew what it meant. But anyway, so there's more switching shenanigans, basically, and there's some conflict that happens because Kamala is the only one of them that can't fly. And Monica has never practiced flying before, even though she can fly. And so that makes for a really fun scene where Carol and Kamala switch while Carol is flying, and then Kamala's just falling in midair, like from the atmosphere of the earth down. And Monica flies up to go save her, but she can't because she has to turn into light to fly, and she can't touch
She tries
Kamala.
to catch Kamala, and she just flies straight through her. It's fantastic.
It's great. Also, okay, she's super cool. Her power set is really cool. How she can see light. She says that her only power is to see light, but that's not true. She can become light, and she can bend light, just like Sue Storm, right?
I think the exact thing that she says is she can control.
No, she doesn't.
Like the electromagnetic wavelengths of light.
Does she say that? When does she say that? I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure at least that is her comic power.
Yeah.
And she also never gets her comic name, even though they mention it. They said
all
Photon.
of them. They said all of them.
Yeah. Except for...
not they. Kamala said all of them.
Yeah. Carol says Vision, and then she's like, oh, wait, no, that's taken.
That was so funny. I laughed so much in this movie. Okay? That was really fun.
But yeah, the one name I think they don't mention is Binary. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but that is an important costume to remember.
Oh, okay. Noted.
It's pinned up on the board.
Yeah, it's on my conspiracy board. I'm Charlie from It's Always Sunny. It's there. It's all connected.
Where were we?
We're in the movie. Okay, so Kamala.
Marvels.
Yeah. So anyway, they all get together and they meet, and they get to Carol's spaceship, basically.
Right.
And they go through that flashback memory thing. Carol and Monica have a very tense reunion. Very
And Monica
difficult.
just straight up confronts her about like, hey, you said you were going to be back.
Yeah.
It's been, what, 20 years?
Yeah, because in the in the first Captain Marvel, she says, I'll be back faster than you can notice or think or whatever. She says, I'll be back very soon, basically. And then she never comes back. And then Monica gets blipped out of existence, and when she gets back, her mom is dead, and she has no one. And then also her cat is gone, and she doesn't know where her cat went to. Because
it's terrible. Life is terrible.
Her cat. It was crazy.
And in the when they're all in the memory thing, and we see in Carol's memory that she went down to Earth to see Maria before she died of cancer, and Maria was like, "Take this cat." Yeah. Oh, I love
don't know.
that.
Sounds
scene.
like a
that
lesbian.
was really powerful.
Sounds like a lesbian breakup to me, but whatever.
Well, I mean, she's got a new boo, and it's Valkyrie.
It is Valkyrie.
So.
Jesus Christ, that was. When Valkyrie showed up, I lost my mind. I was like, oh, they're fucking. Like, they're... How else do they know each other?
Yeah, I didn't want to get my hopes up when she said, I'm calling a friend, or I called a friend. But I was like, they have to pull in someone. Mm-hmm. And when Valkyrie showed up on the Bifrost, I was like, yes, this is perfect.
I don't know why, but my first thought was Nebula. I was like, oh, she called Nebula.
Yeah.
And then
that would make sense.
They're going to go live on Nowhere with Nebula. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that would make sense to me. But no, it was Valkyrie, honestly, and I'm so much happier.
But that's the thing about with the Marvel Universe is you have so many opportunities with just narrative things like that, because both would work. Yeah. Nebula could have shown up and it would have been just as perfect.
No, it wouldn't, because Valkyrie and Carol are definitely fucking, and Nebula is very asexual. That wouldn't be as
I don't know. I could see Nebula with Carol, but
you could see
anyway.
Anyway, we gotta move on.
Anyway.
That hasn't even happened yet in our part of the movie.
Yeah. Are we to the part where they're figuring out the switching?
They have, well, no, it's not. No, we skipped it. That's what we did. We skipped it. Because they end up on the planet where the Skrulls are living.
Yes.
Which
and the Skrulls and the villain are doing their peace talks.
Sorry. Why did you have Secret Invasion at all? Why did that show even exist? Carol clearly found a place for the Skrulls to live. They're living on a planet. They have a planet. They have space. Why are some of them still refugees on Earth? Also, where's Nick Fury's Skrull wife? Why the fuck wasn't she on the space station that we are for half of the movie? What the heck is happening?
Where's Emilia Clarke? What's going on?
I want to rip my eyes out. That was so freaking pointless. What was the point?
I am so incredibly glad that they did not reference anything from Secret Invasion.
You can pretend it never happened.
But also, like, what the hell? Like,
no.
what was the point?
Yeah, why make us sit through that schlock if you're not gonna have it for a reason? I know that this movie was supposed to come out way before Secret Invasion did. I know that, and that's why there are no references to it. But I was like, if you're gonna have in the show where Nick Fury comes down from his space station, and then at the very end, he just goes back up to his space station and everything is fucking the same, except now it super sucks for the Skrull. Well, then my mind goes, oh, this movie, maybe Secret Invasion takes place after this. I don't know. Because
it would have to.
It would have to, because now there are more Skrull refugees on Earth because Valkyrie just took them there. But why would they be refugees in Russia and not protected in New Valhalla? It doesn't make any sense. They should be a protected class in New Valhalla with the other, I don't know, what are people from Valhalla called? Norse? No, they're not called Norse.
Asgardians?
Asgardian, that's it. They're not in Valhalla. Why am I saying Valhalla? It's Asgard. I'm thinking of Valkyrie.
They're in
because
Valhalla if they die.
No, I'm thinking of like actual Norse Valkyries because Valkyries
the
live
warriors.
in Valhalla. I'm tired. Anyway.
Watching the Marvels is a taxing experience.
No, not watching the Marvels.
Not that it's harrowing.
No, thinking
but...
about Secret Invasion is a taxing experience. God damn it.
What a wasted experience.
No sense. If it takes place before Captain Marvel, before the Marvels, it doesn't make sense. And if it takes place after the Marvels, it doesn't make sense. So I refuse to believe it exists. I don't want to think about it ever again.
It just doesn't exist.
No. Ugh, but I can't get that nightmare CGI out of my brain. Anyway.
I don't know if we are there yet, but I loved the scene where they were figuring out their switching.
Yes. That happens after basically what happens on the Skrull planet. Villain girl comes and takes their atmosphere and brings it to the other planet so that
they save some of the Skrulls, but
yeah,
the world ends up not being saved.
Yeah, the planet is destroyed, and she gives what's her name? Darbin gives Hala a new atmosphere. I'm actively reading it. I'll never remember it. I have to read it off the page.
Darbin. What a funny name.
So then they have this absolutely amazing montage of Carol, Monica, and Kamala figuring out their quantum entanglement, their switching powers, and it's so fun. I actually wish that they could have kept those switching powers. That's so cool.
You know what this reminded me of? This was all of the Spider-Men talking to each other before the big fight. It was the same level of chemistry between the actors, and I almost felt the nostalgia just because I'd been leading up to this movie for, I guess, only 3 years in the wait from WandaVision.
Yeah.
But it just felt good to see these characters having fun together.
Mm-hmm. I just it's so good. It's so much fun. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
So they have this awesome epic montage. There is jump rope and popcorn involved. Love that.
The characters get to know each other more. Yeah, Carol and Monica duke it out, but then they're good now.
Do they duke it out? I don't think they duke
emotionally.
It out. Not real. I feel
they definitely
a little bit. Yeah, they do. After the flashback sequence, they go into their minds with the Skrull mind thingy, that the Skrulls use to learn people's memories. That's it. Learn people's memories so that they can impersonate them well.
And Carol's still using it because she's still has memory issues.
Yeah, she still has lots of memory blocks from what the Kree did to her. The Kree are bad people, yo. The Kree have been villains in what's this, 3 or 4 Marvel projects now, including Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
But I mean, the Kree have been led by this AI for so long, and then they lose it, and they immediately just ruin their planet. Again, in concept, I like all of this stuff, but I wish it was executed better.
But it's a civil war, and it's all their fault. And then they're like, you know what? Let's go take these former colonies and pillage them once again. Ugh.
They owe us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Not great. But again, I like all of the complicated narrative stuff, but I wish I cared about Hala more.
Yeah, I don't.
I do wish.
I mean, I do. You're right. I wish that Carol's connection to Hala was explored better. Because they just kind of brush it away in flashbacks and are like, oh yeah, I went and destroyed the AI. And then they had a civil war. That's basically what we get. That's the exposition in the movie. And then they had a civil war, and now they're upset because they can't breathe. And I'm like, okay, could have been.
And Carol's known as the Annihilator to all the Kree, because that is what she is. She came in and she just destroyed everything.
No, she didn't.
Because she has that level of power.
No, she didn't. She annihilated the computer, and then she fucked off. She left, and then they had a civil war.
Yeah, no, they ruined everything on their own right.
Yeah.
But I do like the image of this just superhero being coming in and just being this unstoppable force, and that is terrifying.
Yeah,
and rightfully so.
That's like what Homelander is.
Which is why The Boys
that's
is great.
What Homelander
Can't wait
is,
for that to come
that's
back.
What Omni-Man is. That's what that is. Like, it's not what Carol is. It's interesting that that's their perception of her, but again, it could have been explored more.
Mm-hmm.
So they get a hold of their switching powers. It's super fun, and then they're like, oh, what's the next target gonna be? Well, Hala has a serious drought, so they're gonna be targeting a planet that has water. And Carol goes, oh, they're gonna go here, whatever it was called. It was like
Aladdin.
Aladna.
I think I was gonna say it's not Aladdin, but I'm calling it Aladdin.
It was Aladna. That's what it was. And she was like, their planet is 98.75% water. And I was like, and then she was like, Monica was like, that was a very specific statistic that you have off the top of your head.
She's definitely been there.
And then she was like, oh yeah, and she says, do you know it? And then Carol's like, no. That's where Kamala says, she said that really weirdly.
But they all decide to go to Aladdin. And this planet, initially, I loved. I could not get enough of it.
They get there, and Carol puts this jellyfish on her head, and I'm like, what? Why do you look like Cleo from H2O Just Add Water? It's like, she has just like a literal jellyfish on her head. And I was like, if you wanted to be inconspicuous, I would have done something else, but okay. And they walk onto the planet, and a child immediately starts singing at them.
And Monica's just like, hello, little girl. Do you know the directions? And then she just starts singing again, interrupts Monica.
And then everyone starts singing and dancing, and Carol reveals that this whole planet is a musical. Like,
such a cool concept. I love that. And it's such a great idea to just expand the idea of this universe that is so culturally rich.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. It was a freaking gem. I thought it was strange that it's a specific planet that's a musical that has like magical diegetic sound coming from somewhere, and then they have magic sparkles that make Carol's sweatshirt
dress and makeup
into a princess dress, and I'm like, what? Yeah, also, Carol's the princess of this world.
Yeah.
Because
through a technicality, she had to marry.
Had a marriage of convenience with the prince of this world, because he's very clearly gay and she's very clearly a lesbian. So they got married, and now she's the princess of this world. And she says that they're a matriarchal society, so she had to marry him. So that means he is only the prince of this world because she is married to him. Which is
so
wild.
Technically she's the leader.
Yeah. Well,
is great.
They didn't get into if they have a king or a queen, or if prince and princess are the highest ranks in that world. I don't know. Probably because it's a musical world, prince and princess are the highest ranks.
I could have used more of this world. And I will say, the one thing that I did not like about the musical planet is they did not go far enough. I got there and I was fully expecting a musical fight scene on that planet.
That would have been so cool with the switching and in a musical format.
Wouldn't that have been fun?
Oh my god. I was half expecting them to get, like, the villain to get there and confront the prince and then start singing at him and being like, you have forsaken Hala. And I would have lost my mind if that happened.
Or even all of the warriors and the prince, like, fighting super well but singing the whole time, and everyone, like, all the villains are confused. Anything like that. But nothing like that happens. It's still a fun fight scene, but
the thing that I
no musical.
Didn't like about this fight scene was how it ended, because Kamala does make the right call and makes their spaceship leave. They jump, they have to go because she has to save her bracelet from Darben.
You had to look
I had
again.
To look. I completely forget. As soon as I say it, it leaves my brain. And so Kamala has them jump, and Carol's upset because she thinks that she can save them. But then they just leave while their world is still actively being drained of water and of...
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, first off, their world is 98% water. Why do you have to draw water from the shallowest part of their world where all the land is? You should go to the deep part of the ocean, suck up all the water there, or some of the water there, put it in your world, and then leave. Because they'll still have water. Like obviously the villain wants to kill them, but she didn't have to, is what I'm saying. She could have
the villain tries to talk to the Skrulls on the first planet, so I don't know if she wants to kill anyone, but yeah, she doesn't even try to talk to the musical people.
I don't think that she was trying to talk to them. I think she was actively luring Captain Marvel there.
That also could be true.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, they just leave and end up on like a planet full of grain or something. This is the problem with
just
jumping
wheat everywhere.
Yeah, this is the problem with jumping from planet to planet so much. No planet is just one thing. Like uninhabited planets, sure, but they all get off of this planet and breathe the air fine, so it's clearly habitable and life could have formed there. No planet is just, this planet's an entire field of wheat. like no, you could be in a field of wheat on a planet, but diversify your planets, guys, okay? Why would there be a jump point to a non-habitable planet with a breathable atmosphere that's has only grain on it?
Right.
Oh, well.
Just put something like trees. I don't know.
That's a nitpick I have. It has nothing to do with the movie. It's fully like planet design, set decor, whatever you call it.
Again, we just left a musical planet. Yeah. There is a lot of thought put into the galaxy.
And it was covered in water, but there were people there and they were all dancing. And I still don't know how the sound was there. And do all of the people in this world have magical powers to turn your clothes into dresses? Because I want to go to there. I want to go to there.
We need to travel there.
I want that dress. That was really cute. Also, I wanted them to put Monica and Kamala in dresses too. Or suits or something. I don't know. That would have been so fun. Anyway.
Anyway. But yeah, on this wheat planet, we kind of have the final confrontation where Carol thinks that she is pretty much the annihilator that everyone says, and that's why she didn't go back to Earth.
Yeah.
And I did like this emotional punch, but I felt like a pretty weak punch.
Yeah.
I wish there was more oomph to it. I don't know.
The thing is, this movie, it had a lot of reshoots. I don't know what all of them were, but I could tell from pacing that there were certain things that were cut and things that were subbed instead. And I think that this scene was a perfect reshoot scene because it just had the three principal characters on a green screen background. This would have been a very
and nothing else there.
It would have been a very easy reshoot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's likely that it is one, and I think that it could have, just like you said, it could have been more emotional. It felt, it was good stuff to learn, good exposition, but it didn't feel earned.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention, I think, before the fight on Aladdin, the music planet, they get all of their suits. I'm going to keep on calling it Aladdin fair. Every time it comes up. But Monica gets the weird side cape where it goes from her hands and it looks like a bed curtain. Mm-hmm. And she tears those off. Those are comic accurate and they're dumb. And I'm glad they took them off. Good.
I like the, I thought it was really funny that she had it, that she put them on. Like, she saw this suit, she put it on, and then she goes, I don't like this. It's too much. I'm taking it off.
No, not doing that. But I also did not like Miss Marvel's costume. Maybe it was just the shoulders and there was way too much going on there.
I didn't like it either. It was too red and blue. Why are all these superhero costumes red and blue? I like her other costume. It was like turquoise and crimson. Obviously, those are shades of red and blue, but it seemed more dynamic and there was gold and it was fun. I really like her other costume. I didn't like this one as much.
No, I liked her first costume much better.
Also, her colors like her other costume would have let her. Okay, it would be bad for a movie, but good for like a tactical battle. Like it would have let her blend in more with the people of that world because it was a similar color scheme to the army's colors. But obviously,
so I guess
you want her to stand out as the main character of a movie. But you know, if this was an actual battle, she probably should have been wearing her other costume.
She was also using her scarf as a weapon, and I thought that was a bit ridiculous, but it's a superhero movie. I thought it was
funny. I looked at it, I was like, is that stupid? Absolutely, but it's hilarious, and I like it. Let it be there.
Yes.
Because she can't use her powers, because then she'll switch with Carol, and she'll be falling out of the sky, or she'll switch with Monica, and she'll be, like, being choked to death by Darvin. So.
But she does use her powers, and Darvin finds out that she's using a bangle.
Yeah, she got a bangle.
And that leads us into the third act, where, honestly, again, all I can remember is the fantastic action scene. It's choreographed so well, and I don't even remember any music or soundtrack behind it. It's just the action, and you can feel it. It's fantastic.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that happened in between, because obviously after there's the wheat field scene, the wheat planet scene, and then they go back.
We got to go there and thresh it all.
Now you want to colonize and destroy planets for their resources, Max? I'm disappointed.
It looks like no one's using it.
So they go back to the space station Saber, I think that's what it's called, and Kamala's
I forgot about
family is
all
there.
Of the Saber stuff.
Kamala's family is there for some reason. They're on the spaceship,
and an Asgardian is there.
Yeah.
Is that what the black guy is? I have no idea.
I didn't know. I thought he was just working there, and I was like, "Hey, a job's a job." I thought he was from some other planet, but maybe he's Asgardian. That would make sense because Asgard has a colony on Earth. So.
But yeah, there's a bunch of aliens and weirdos working on Saber, which I love.
And they start finding.
It feels like a Star Trek thing.
They start finding all these weird red gooey brain-shaped things on the on Saber, and at first I thought it was gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be some weird kind of tactical thing from the villain, some weird invasion kind of thing. I don't know, maybe some connection to Secret Invasion. I don't know, probably not, because that shit sucked. But
no.
But then they find.
Well, I should ask, did you have an idea of what was going on?
Absolutely not. I had no clue. Because you know
why?
You know why? Because I forgot that Goose was there. And I had no idea.
Oh, goodness. I knew that Goose was there, and I knew that Goose was laying eggs, because we've talked about on this podcast, the trailer spoiled it.
Did it?
I saw kittens in the trailer, and I assumed Goose was having kittens. And I wish that wasn't a reveal, because I knew that like a year ago.
Okay, can I just say, the trailers for this movie did it absolutely no justice. The first trailer, the first one that ever came out, that one was good. And that was the only one that I liked.
The higher, further, faster one.
That was the only
one was great.
that I seeked out and watched. The other trailers that I saw were shoved in commercials, when I didn't want to see it, and I tried to look away, but I saw part of it, and it spoiled a bunch of stuff, and it also framed the villain it framed her in a way, I think I said it in a previous episode, but it made it seem like she wanted to destroy the Earth, and she wanted to take over the galaxy, and it was like every other villain in every other Marvel movie, and I was like, no, I'm so not excited for that. But that's not what she is at all. So I was really relieved when she wasn't that kind of villain. But I'm so glad that I did not watch the trailer with the kittens, and I didn't listen to you when you told me about it. I did listen to. I don't remember if I did, or I actively blocked it out of my mind because I had.
I'm glad
no
that
clue.
you blocked it out or forgot, because it's really cool that you see the kittens and you're like, oh my god, little flurkins, they're so cute.
No, but so the little brains are goose eggs, and Goose has been laying like hundreds of eggs or something, like dozens. There's so many, and then they all hatch, and they're all a bunch of little cute flurkins, and it's just in time
Nick
for them
Fury...
to hatch and be born because the Dunbar, no, Darwin.
Dunbar.
I really thought I had it. Darwin came and it was, like trying to take the Earth's sun, or I guess the Milky Way's sun. And the space station was like starting to fail and get sucked into the wormhole or whatever. And
they lost their door to Earth or whatever, all the escape pods.
They losing the escape pods. So some of the people got away, but there were a bunch left. And then Nick Fury goes, let's have the Flurkins eat them. And I thought that too, but I was like, what a wild idea.
And they even established earlier, I don't know if Goose eats anyone in the first Captain Marvel, like actually eats them and digests them.
No,
but he eats someone earlier and then spits them up.
Yeah, in the very first action scene, he eats someone where Captain Marvel is and then spits him out in Kamala's house. Which is...
But I think he might eat someone fully in the first Captain Marvel movie.
Maybe.
But I could be wrong.
Maybe, but they don't have to. They're smart. They can be told, don't eat this. Don't eat it. Just swallow it. Like a pill.
And then spit it out later. And there is one moment where Nick Fury is carrying one of the kittens, and then it kind of acts up for a bit, and then Nick just protects his eye, and he's like, not my good eye.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. I have to watch it again. That's so funny. It's like, don't take my eye, Flurkin. Not this one.
I also called him Nick. I don't know what the hell that was.
You're good friends.
Yeah, we're really good friends. I've read so much about him.
Yeah. You're Kamala Khan. Oh my god, Nick Fury!
Is this an Avengers test? Oh my god. I would love to be in the Avengers. Just even have a luncheon with them.
Okay, yeah, so they all so everyone in the space station gets eaten by Flurkins, and while they're and sorry, this is my favorite part of the film. They start getting...
And is Ave Maria playing?
No, it's not Ave Maria, dude. It's Memory from Cats.
Oh, that's right.
And it's the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. It's all of these people running in fear, terrified, because cats are taking over their space
and the
station
intercom is just like, do not run from the cats.
The intercom is like, stay calm and let the cats eat you. And let the Flurkins eat you. And they're playing Memory from Cats, the musical. It's just incredible. I was losing my mind.
Goose is training his kids. That was so much fun when he was like, yeah, go pounce, little boy.
No, it was... I paid... Like, I could very much tell that the people sitting next to me did not realize that the song was from the musical Cats, because they weren't laughing as much as I was.
I don't think even I realized that.
I was actively losing my shit. Absolutely excellent choice. Like, what? Who thinks of that? That's so funny.
But yeah, they got the whole ship or space station cleared out. They're getting all the kittens on the escape pods, or what's left of the escape pods.
And then, meanwhile, Kamala, Monica, and Carol go fight Darwin. And that's when they have their epic last fight.
And it's so good. Shot so well.
All of the fights with them are just so good. And there's not too many of them. There's 3. It was really consistent, you know? The 3
and
is
honestly,
a big number in this movie. There were 3 planets targeted. There's 3 of them. There's 3 fight sequences. I don't know. This probably doesn't mean anything, but there's 3 members of Kamala's family. But that was, we already knew that.
Lots of 3s. I didn't even put that together, but yeah, maybe that's something.
Putting it together right now as I'm talking. So I'm
by the time we end this podcast, we will have something there.
Exactly. Higher, further, faster. 3. Got it.
Yep. There you go.
3 words. Oh yeah, Monica, Carol, and the mom. Family of 3. Monica's mom. I forget her name, but they were a family of 3. Did it.
So many 3s.
2 moms and a daughter. Anyway.
But yeah, I mentioned the first action scene earlier, but this first action scene and the last one are probably going to go down as an all-timer. Yeah. Like, these are shot so well. Even on this podcast, I've talked about just pushing the camera back and letting the audience see what is going on. Even if the characters are switching places with each other the whole scene, it's still so easy to tell what is going on.
It's really fun. It felt on the level with Guardians of the Galaxy fight sequences. Maybe not in camera work, but definitely in pacing and choreography. Sometimes in camera work, like in the first,
honestly, I think in camera work too.
I
both
agree.
of them.
I take it back. I agree.
Yeah.
And excellent freaking film. So anyway, what's her name kills herself? Darbin.
Yeah. She gets the other bangle. She clasps it together. Which is a nice comic reference because the old Captain Marvel, like the original dude one, would clasp his bands together and switch places with some people.
Oh, really?
So all that was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The one who's Shazam?
No.
Wait, no, sorry. That's DC.
The Marvel Captain Marvel. But there is a lot of Captain Marvels.
Yeah,
you are right. It's confusing.
The one who was played by that girl with the short white hair in the first Captain Marvel, but was a guy in the comics.
Yes.
That one. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
I
it's
think.
that one. Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yes. And this kind of introduces all the multiverse stuff because they say they're tearing a hole in space-time and it's a gate to another universe.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're still doing multiverse.
A parallel universe, and why is that able to happen? Why is that able to coexist multiple universe? Because of Loki. Loki the guy.
Because Loki's letting it happen.
Loki's letting it happen. Loki's sitting there at the base or in the middle of Yggdrasil, and he is making
and he's
it
teary-eyed.
happen. Yeah. Anyway.
But one thing I thought was weird was how clasping together to use all of that power killed the villain, but then 2 seconds later Kamala did the same thing and she was fine.
Because Kamala's first off, because Kamala's a mutant. Second of all,
yes, that is true.
Because Kamala is supposed to use that power. She said that. She said these bangles traveled across time and space to find me. I was born for this. And I
true.
Super buy that. And also, she wasn't using as much power as Darbin did because she's doing half and Carol is doing half.
Miss Marvel or Kamala, I should just use her name. We're on that level.
We're on first name basis.
But Kamala also used her powers without the bangle, and I assume she needed it. But she's a mutant.
No.
So.
Me too. I was very confused about that, and I was like, I know that she's a mutant. I guess the bangle unlocked her powers because she didn't have them before the bangle. But that was interesting. That's good to know and very interesting that she has her powers without the bangle as well.
But now she also has both bangles in the future.
No, she doesn't. In the last scene where they're in the airplane, Carol's wearing it. Carol's wearing one of them and she's wearing the other.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Anyway, so they have to close this wormhole base door thingy that that Darbin opened to the other universe, and the way that they're gonna do it is that, like we just said, Kamala does half of the energy and Carol does half of the energy, and they both shoot it at Monica, who can absorb all of that energy and then go and close the rift from the inside.
And she looks really cool with the white Captain Marvel powers.
So freaking awesome. Oh my god. Shivers. She
Higher, further, faster.
Literally. that was so cool. And then her eyes turned white. I was like, that's sick, man.
So awesome.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, she gets stuck on the other side.
Yeah, well, no, she goes willingly. She like closes herself in, and Carol tries to save her, and it's so sad. And I literally cried. I was like, no. Ugh. I was like,
they just reconciled,
reunited. You were gonna be a family again. Oh, it was so sad. Anyway,
and there was also the moment where Carol learned that they weren't switching places anymore, and she was like, oh, I guess that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, no,
and
Carol
I could tell just deep down
upset.
She was like, man, I wanted to be with them.
She was like, I like having this connection with people I've been alone for 30 years. Which is very sad.
Yeah, it's very sad, which I mean kind of leads into the next scene where Kamal's family is helping Carol unpack or pack up her stuff. I guess
I don't know what was happening. I was like, is Kamala's family moving into Carol and Monica and Maria's old house? Or
I think Carol was moving in to live on Earth.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, Carol's moving into their old house, but why is Kamala's whole family there was my question.
Because they're there to help and they have to be on screen.
No, but Kamala's mom says to her brother, this is a good place to raise a family. So are they like living there now? What's happening?
I have no idea. But this scene does lead to Carol and Kamala both feeling like they still want to be on a team. And I feel like that's going to lead to Carol being maybe the leader of the Avengers. I would like the new Captain America to lead them, but I could also see Captain Marvel leading them. But more importantly, Kamala finally leads up to Young Avengers.
I'm literally bouncing up and down in my chair right now. I'm so excited.
I figured this would be an after credit scene, but Loki did it too, where there's like so many fake outs for after credits. So I'm glad that it was just in it.
I'm saying this now. I had absolutely no predisposition to what any post-credit scene would be. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't theorize. I thought absolutely nothing. My mind was a blank. I went into it and I saw it. And it didn't even feel like post-credits really, because it was just a scene. It felt like it was attached to the movie. But whatever. But no, it's
Kamala's
so good.
playing on being Nick Fury.
Okay, so you see it cuts to a door, clearly in a New York apartment, and then you see Kate Bishop walk in, and I was like, oh god, oh my gosh! As soon as I saw the bow, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I really wasn't even thinking about it at all. You see the
silhouette of the bow. And then you see Lucky the pizza dog.
Lucky the pizza dog. Also, I completely forgot about her because, again, it's been so long since these freaking shows came out. And then...
Why can't we just get a Young Avengers show? Like, what's up with that?
I don't know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. But Kamala is sitting in the dark, acting like Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man 1. And it's so funny. Oh my gosh. It was... But she's obviously not Nick Fury. She's not as cool as Nick Fury. She's Kamala Khan, and she
ends up
hilarious.
saying please.
Yeah, she's like,
so
please. She's so
she also says that she put out feelers for maybe Ant-Man's daughter.
Yeah, she was like, did you know Ant-Man had a daughter? And I was like, oh my god, is it gonna be an all-girls Young Avengers? But then I'm like, no, you have to have Billy and Tommy there. So they're gonna figure something out. I was thinking about that as I was leaving, and I was like, how are they gonna get them? Is it obvious? I think he's gonna be played by Joe, what's his name, from Heartstopper. I think he's gonna play Billy.
Oh, yep. In Agatha, House of Harkness, or whatever
Agatha
the name of that show is
that's
now.
What I'm gonna call it Agatha.
It was Agatha.
All along. Because you say Agatha Harkness, and the only thing I can think of is Captain Jack Harkness from Doctor Who, and I'm like, no, that's not right. So it'll be Agatha all along in my brain. But I think he's going to play Billy, or I'm hoping that he's going to play Billy.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
And I don't know how that's going to happen. Are they going to bring them in from a different universe? Is it going to be the weird soul thing like it was in the comics, that their souls are reincarnated into babies or something? It's super weird.
It could be anything. Yeah.
You're right. It could be anything. We don't know. But it has the makings of a really fun Young Avengers team. I am going to say this. I really, really liked having a movie where there's a teenage superhero like Kamala and her being surrounded not by friends who know her secret, but her actual family. Like, that is... And they know everything, and there's no hiding your secret identity, and there's no, let's do this quick before my family finds out. It's like very connected, very together. I really liked that because obviously it's interesting the other way. I call it the Spider-Man way in my mind.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's fun to see Spider-Man try to be home while he's fighting the villain.
Yeah. But it's not
or he
always
needs to be
fun.
home for curfew.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's also fun to see the parents be supportive while also saying, like, I want to keep you safe. Like, don't put yourself out in danger if you don't have to.
It's fun having some where it's a secret and having some where it's not a secret. That's what I'm gonna say. And do we think that Spider-Man is gonna be on the Young Avengers? This has been like, people have been back and forth because he is already an Avenger. So,
well,
what's
I mean,
do?
I feel like he's the perfect person to lead the Young Avengers.
Probably. Well, no, but maybe Kamala will do it. She's the one getting the team
honestly,
together.
Kamala could also do it.
Also, I don't think, as of right now, Peter Parker, where he is in the MCU, wants to be a leader of anything. I feel like he's kind of wrung out. He's kind of exhausted. And also, no one remembers him. So I don't even know if the Avengers remember him.
I think Kamala probably wants Spider-Man on her team.
Probably. But she has no idea how to find him because nobody knows who he is, so... I
don't know when we will next see the Young Avengers, but I want to see them so badly. Just this little tease got me so excited for that. And I mean, this movie as a whole just got me reinvigorated. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm back in. I like Marvel again. The next big Marvel movie is Deadpool 3. Can't wait for that.
Well, okay, so I was thinking this... I wasn't thinking the same thing. I was thinking I loved this movie so much. It was so fun to watch, and I will be watching it again. But then my next thought was, I'm glad that the next Marvel movie isn't until Deadpool 3, because they have been, and I hope that there aren't any TV shows coming out for a little bit, because they have been oversaturating the market. There have been too many things coming out, not just Marvel, but it's DC and other superhero things too. There's been too much multiverse stuff going on in the media.
Yep.
And it's making audiences not want to go see things.
I mean, the next Marvel thing is Echo, the show, which they're dropping all at once. That's a big conversation
no one
for another
wants
time.
To see it. I'm sorry. They're dropping it all at once because no one gives a shit about it. I'm sorry.
You know what? I want to see Echo. I'll raise my hand. I was really hesitant, but I saw that first trailer. And I want to see it.
I didn't see the trailer. I think it'll be interesting. Just the concept of Echo as a character is interesting, but right now I don't want to see it. They're like, they have left off on two really good things. They have Loki season 2 and the Marvels, and they are both excellent in my opinion.
They're both a lot of fun and really well made.
Yeah. Do they both have problems?
A lot of thought put behind them.
Do they both have problems? Yes, but nothing is perfect, and I had fun, and that's all I care about, honestly. I don't care about the... I mean, well, that's not true. I was going to say I don't care about the extended universe, and that's a big fat lie. I super care about it.
I love it so much.
I super care about it. But at this point in time, I don't care about the business part of Marvel. I was like, this needs to be fun for me to watch, or else you're like, let's stop making movies for a while and figure out how to make them good.
Just quality control, which I like seeing a bunch of stuff. I'm one of the rare people who I'm like, yeah, put out 3 movies a year, I'll see them all. But if they're not all good, then why are you making 3 movies a year?
I don't think that's rare. I think I'm like that too with most things. Like I was just saying it's been so long since we've seen them. I wish things were coming out faster. Obviously that's, you know, things take time to come out. I know that. Things aren't going to come out all at the same time. Maybe they won't come out in order. That's fine. Like, I understand that. I can still complain about it, but I do understand it.
And waiting is a part of the experience.
It is. But the problem is when the things that you put out aren't cohesive, they don't, and they're not interesting. They're not good, and they're not interesting. And a lot of people have been like complaining about Marvel Phase 4 and how Marvel didn't have a plan and it's not connected and it doesn't make any sense. I don't care about that. It's not going to make sense until later. It's not going to be a whole picture of a connected universe until there is a big event that connects everything. Okay? That's what happened with the first few phases. No one was watching Thor and being like, this completely connects to Iron Man and I see no flaws in this logic at all. This makes complete sense to me. No, it was a weird, flimsy connection and nobody had any idea where it was going.
Although, and this is much later in the phases, like phase 3, and I think this is what people are missing, is the lack of solo movies. Like, even in Thor 3, which is, I guess, a standalone Thor movie, it had the Hulk in it. Or Ant-Man, the sequel to it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. And that's what I liked about the Marvels, is it was 3 heroes all together in one movie. And I mentioned it before, but somehow all 3 characters got some spotlight. And that's incredible to me.
They did.
It's
not somehow. It's just a well-written movie. There's lots of movies with 3 characters in it, you know? Like, where there are the movies that fail to do that, even with 2 characters, like Thor Love and Thunder is not just a Thor movie. It's about Thor and it's about Jane. And it's about 2 types of Thor, right? And that's what it should have explored, and that's not what ended up happening.
Yeah.
And there are other reasons why that movie was not a success, but that is a contributing factor, you know. The Eternals was supposed to be an ensemble movie, and it was to an extent, but tell me any personal characteristic that you learned about any of the Eternals characters other than I forgot his name, but the Darkness one. I forget his name. He was broody. That's all I remember.
I am an Eternals defender, so I will always defend
I'm not
them,
shitting on it. I liked watching the Eternals. I didn't like it as a movie. I didn't think it was the best made movie, but I liked watching it. I thought it was fun. I liked the idea of the characters. But what are some things about them other than that they are Eternals and that they all have this shared backstory? What are some things about those people that we spent a whole movie with? You should be able to tell me what some of those things are. Like movies like The Irishman, it had a lot of characters in it, but I know things about the people in that movie, you know? It's just...
No, that is fair. Yeah. But I can't think of too much else to say about the Marvels. We're kind of just talking about Marvel's future. But with that, should we move on to the consumption corner?
No, because we didn't do the post-credit scene.
Oh my goodness. Beast. I have...
There you go. The over now.
I have... The first note written down about this movie is, man, I wish Beast looked better.
So, for anyone who didn't stay for the post-credit scene, which, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah,
but,
it's Marvel, come on.
Monica wakes up in a parallel universe, and her mom is there, but she's not her mom, Maria Rambeau. She is probably, I don't know, Photon Maria Rambeau or something. She's a superhero.
So yeah, the pin that I put up in the board, Binary, which is the name that sometimes Captain Marvel goes by, that's the costume she's wearing. And I don't know if you noticed, she's wearing both bangles too.
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
I didn't notice the bangle thing. I noticed that she had 2 like stars, and I was like, that's interesting. What does that mean? Binary is a terrible superhero name. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's very bad.
That's awful. I hope they don't call her that.
I hope not either, but that is the costume that she's wearing.
Okay.
And Beast, who is voiced by Kelsey Grammer, which I really hope they bring Kelsey Grammer back as Beast, like in the actual X-Men, whatever they do. But he looked exactly like he did in the cartoon, which is cool, but every other live-action version of Beast has looked better. Even Kelsey Grammer back in X-Men The Last Stand.
It wasn't great, let's say that. But it was super fun to see Beast that I almost loved past it. Beast showed up.
And
Beast
he mentioned Charles.
Yeah, he says Charles by name. And I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, what is this parallel universe? Is this the 616 universe? Because the universe that the MCU is in is not 616. So
it's like 199999 or something like that.
Yeah. But it would be interesting if it was the 616, but I don't know if it is. I don't know. It'll be fun though. It looks very futuristic.
The multiverse is infinite.
Yeah.
It could be anything. I love it. But with that, should we move on to the consumption corner?
Yes.
Well, I, for one, am starved for content.
I'm starved for anything. I haven't eaten all day.
I have started watching The Killers, which is David Fincher's new movie.
Yes, I wanted to see that.
I haven't finished it, so I can't say too much about it, but it is gorgeous. It is just a beautifully shot movie. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this section is my rage and anger over the movie Coyote versus Acme, if you've heard of that.
Never heard of it.
I have to rant for a little bit, because this movie, which was produced and written by James Gunn, and it was starring John Cena, it got the Batgirl treatment, where apparently it was fantastic. It tested really well. It made everyone cry who watched it. I don't know if that's true, but it was shelved so that a bunch of studio heads could get a tax break. And they got like $30 million so that, or for the reason that no one can watch this movie ever. And again, I don't know if it's good, but I would have really liked to see it. And I still don't understand. Like, someone explain to me how a studio making a movie and then shelving it in their vault so that no one can see it, and then because they do that, they profit. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly how. Because the amount of money that they're pouring into movies right now, and especially marketing budgets for movies, and movie budgets right now are incredibly inflated to the point where they are overinflated. They don't need to be this much money, in my opinion. But
yeah, the Marvels had a massive budget, which is sad. It's not making its money back.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Even if people go see the movie, with the amount that their budgets are, so I don't remember exactly what the percentage is, but movies aren't considered profitable unless they make back, I think, I don't know if it's like twice their budget or something like that. Or at least half more than their budget, right? So they have to make more than their budget. So if you have a movie that is incredibly high budget, it makes it that much harder for it to make its money back, especially after the marketing costs and after like, because everyone has to get a cut. The movie theaters have to get a cut. The people who work at the movie theater, like you know, that kind of thing. Like the marketing people have to get a cut. The actors have to get a cut. So the production team, the animation houses, all that kind of thing, the CGI teams. So the studio itself making its money back is not always guaranteed. That's what has been happening a lot with recent movies that have been deemed box office bombs, and it's not because they're bad movies or they're underperforming. Lots of people are going to see these. Like, lots of people went to see Mission Impossible, the new one, but that was still a box office bomb because it didn't make back enough money to be a success. So it is, if the studio deems, after marketing and finishing touch CGI and all of these things that we have to pay for, if we don't think with the market right now how it is for movies, people are going out to the movies less and less. People aren't wanting to see as many superhero movies, even if they have big names attached. It's just not working as well anymore. So if they deem that they're not going to make their money back, then they pull it, they shelve it, and they get a tax write-off, and then they make their money back.
Understanding all that and hearing that explanation, it still makes my blood boil.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
I wish this didn't happen.
It's awful. It sucks. And
I hope someone leaks it. Please, if you're listening, if you're one of our 5 listeners, leak this movie.
It's sad, and it's, I don't know, it puts a damper on things that may or may not be art. Maybe they're just studio manufactured pieces of an assembly, or like assembly line pieces, but maybe
I mean, someone
art.
put work into it. Yeah.
Someone views it as art,
but
someone's passion, and that sucks.
But yeah, end of rant. What have you been consuming?
Nothing. Since the last episode we did. I have been rewatching Dimension 20's Fantasy High in preparation for the 3rd season to come out in January. Other than that, not much, really. Oh, I'm gonna be watching Gilmore Girls tonight. I'm gonna be having a illusion of fall night because it was very hot today, but illusion of fall.
The illusion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, with that, I can't think of anything to say.
This has been a Higher, Further, Faster podcast.
Perfect.